Let me just give you what I would see. These are my 5 that I would say, and there's no right or wrong. There are no 5. It's not like you're being tested against an absolute 5. But I would say the first one is response. So I've got response. Consistency. Hierarchy of meaning. It's revelatory, and it has a purpose, which in some sense is understood. So let's look at these and look at why these would be for me. These are the things I'd say. Firstly, response. If something's interactive, it has to respond to the user. It's a fundamental quality of what interactivity is, that it in some way alters itself because of your use of it or your interaction with it. Now the second one, consistency. I think this is really important. When you think about consistency, you want something that responds in a way that you expect it to time after time. If you look at really simple experiences like getting on the train, you have to know that the train is going to behave in a consistent way. You have to know that a pen's going to work in a consistent way. It's going to put ink out of the point and operate on a piece of paper the way that you expect a pen to work. So I think if you look at consistency, I think that's something that we expect from interactive experiences, and probably that comes in a little bit with my last one, purpose, but I'll talk about that. Hierarchies of meaning. This is for me, an important one, because you have to understand the differences between primary and probably secondary levels of interaction or secondary levels of purpose. Most interactive experiences, when we get to more complex things and things which particularly employ media and technology, we're looking at things which have a primary use and then more sophisticated secondary uses which allow you to refine the usage or refine the primary intent. Let me give you an example of something really simple and very broad. Google. Okay, the primary use is to type into a search box and to get a response, and you can then refine your search or do more heuristic searches by setting parameters which are important to you, or searching for images or video, or refining in a secondary sense the way things operate, and then starting to go through the list of things that are provided. But there's a primary directive which is to type something into the box and search, and then you get secondary ways which are consistent and are also understood of it responding to you. So I would say that embodies response, consistency and hierarchy, those first 3 really clearly. Revelatory, that something's revelatory, that it reveals itself to you over time. I think that's a really important characteristic, and it comes back to play. Play is something which can encourage you to interact with the revelatory aspects of the interactive experience. So when you look at Google, again, it's just a page. It's just a page which has a search box, and by interacting with it, it reveals more of itself to you, or more of its purpose. A phone, in a sense, is a sort of an inert object, and when you start to interact with the technology, then it starts to reveal what it is and what it does as a phone, and the different layers of the interactive experience, which are also hierarchical. So in that sense, a computer, again, very inert object, basic kind of operating system interface, and then it becomes certain things through the way that you interact with it. So I think this idea of revelation is an important quality of the interactive experience, because in a sense, when you look at these experiences across the board, they don't really reveal themselves to you in the first instance. They don't sort of say, well, this is what the experience is. They develop over time and they reveal aspects of their purpose. In contrast to this, the last point I've made, which is purpose, and a purpose which is understood, that takes you back to the idea that there is a defined scope to what the interactive experience is. Yeah. So Google, you understand, is to search things on the internet. It's not to edit photos. Photoshop, you understand, it's to edit photos. It's not to search things on the internet. Both of these things, as interactive experiences, will be successful to different extents, greater or lesser extents, according to the extent which they're responsive, to which they're consistent, to which the hierarchies of meaning operate in terms of allowing you to refine and broaden your functions and operations within the interactive experience. The extent to which they slowly reveal themselves, and play is an important aspect of this. They reveal themselves to you as a user, and certainly that purpose, which is understood in a sense what you're using the interactive experience for, that becomes a really important component. And I think a lot of the frustrations that people have expressed and talked about with different kinds of interactive experiences have been because the purpose is not clearly understood, or the purpose is somehow confused. It's not properly hierarchically defined, or that it doesn't reveal itself properly. And all of these other things that contribute, good design sense, clear cues to interaction, I think for me come a little bit under the idea of hierarchies of meaning and the way that they're expressed. Certainly, typographic cues, design cues, clear visual elements, these are all parts of it. And as I say, these are my 5. They're not the absolute 5. They're just 5 that are worth thinking about from me sort of doing the exercise back. So I'll give them to you again. Response, responds to the user. Consistency, that it operates as within a consistent and known system of language. That it has hierarchies of meaning, so some things have precedence within the communication system over other things. It's revelatory, that it reveals itself through the interaction and through the user's input, and that it has a purpose which is understood by both the user and the person who's created the experience in the first place.